Hello, Bridgewell team. In this video, we are going to cover creating a page from scratch, a brand new page on the website. So that would be not one of these categories, but the pages that come underneath those categories. So there is going to be a lot of overlap with this video that you see right here on the dashboard, the product service pages, where I show you how to update the existing product service pages, but in this case, we're going to make a brand new one. So we'll come right here to services. Just go ahead and click on that main menu item. We see the list here of all of the existing services on the site, and we're just going to come right up here and click Add New Post. And when we do that, we are presented with a brand new blank page. All of these fields should look familiar to you from the other video. Uh, I think these two videos are going to go hand in hand, so you might want to watch that one for an overview of what each of these are. Um, the first field that you can see here is the title of the post. That is going to control what shows up right here when it shows up on these feeds on both the home page and on the category page. So this field is going to control that. It is also going to control how it shows up in the full list when you come to services. So it'll control how it shows up there and also how it shows up in the feeds on the front end of the site. So let's go ahead and give this one a we are going to need you'll want to keep this in draft mode, but the way the website works, you will want to publish it first. And then as soon as it's published, you can see it's taken a second over here. We'll want to then go ahead and immediately turn it back into a draft here. So we'll take that and make it a draft, and we'll hit update. That will keep it from being indexed by Google. It will keep anybody who does not have a login to the site from being able to view the page, all of that good stuff. Right over here is where you decide the category that this will show up in. So, pretty simple functionality there. If it's part of Contractor Direct, you'll click the Contractor Direct category. If it is part of utility and construction, you would click that. That does not add it to the menu, but again, it just decides what page and section these, what we're calling the product and service cards, how they show up. So if you checked the Contractor Direct section, this new card is going to show up right here. And of course on the Contractor Direct category page as well. So now that we have published and redrafted this, we can now look at the front end of the post. You can see the title is showing up here at the top. It will show what you've given it here as the title until you put in the SEO title. This is labeled that way precisely because, this is where we want to make sure to get all of those possible keywords in there. So and you can see once we have entered that and saved the draft, that previous test service for video instruction is now replaced with this keyword for test category product here. The service description is what is going to add that supporting text just under the headline. So let's just go ahead and we will grab some Latin placeholder text here. We'll insert that. We'll hit Save Draft. We'll update, refresh, I should say. And now you can see this Latin placeholder text has been inserted here just below the headline. The service gallery is for pages where as you can imagine, where you want pictures. So I think some of the Matt's pages have that. Let's try to find one here really quick. Yes. So if you have some images that you want to add to a gallery to the page, this is where you would upload those. I'll show you in a later step how you decide where those show up on the page, but let's just go ahead and add a few. If you want to use some from the existing media library, you'd come to the media library tab here. So yeah, you can see here, you can pick it from the existing media library, or you can come here to upload files and choose some from your computer. Since this is fake, I'm just gonna, for expedience sake, add some from the existing media library here. We'll select those. Here they show up in our little gallery. You can drag these around to change the order. If you've added the wrong one, you can click the X. If you want to add more, you can just click Add to Gallery again. These fields down below are what control, as you can imagine, the phone numbers and email addresses and the form that shows up on the page. There is a little bit of a complicated relationship here, so I'm just going to take these one at a time and explain how they work. So the phone number and the call rail number are two fields that kind of control the same position on the front end of the site. As a matter of fact, why don't we look at an existing page where this is already filled out? I think it's going to make this a little easier to understand. Let's go to Crane Mats here, and we will go to edit this post. So here we have this first phone number in this blue bar on the page. That is either the phone number or the call rail phone number position here. So those two fields control this. The reason we have it like that is so that anybody editing the site can understand why this number doesn't match up, because call rail is switching it out. So if you've put this in here, you're telling the next user that comes along, the next admin user, that it's going to be changed out. And so they shouldn't be surprised when this 800-615 number doesn't match up, because CallRail is swapping that out. If it's simply a static phone number, go ahead and enter it right here in this phone number spot. The international phone number, there's really nothing too complicated going on here. It's simply, it's a static phone number. This is never call rail. When you enter this in, it will show up in this position right here. It will add the field, add the name international. We'll put the phone number in there. The only exception is in the MATS division, if there is a Northeast phone number entered, and the system detects that the visitor is in the Northeast, it is not then going to show this, even if there's a phone number entered there. So yeah, if MaxMind says, oh, this user is visiting us from one of those states that we've labeled as Northeast, then it's not going to show this number, and it's going to replace this call rail number as well with the Northeast number. This information request button, that always shows up here. That is just a button that will automatically scroll them down to the form on each page. So you don't have to do anything to get that to show up. Now I'm going to cover the rest of these fields, which relate to what shows up down here on the form. So email address, pretty obvious, shows up right here. It adds the icon. If there's no email address entered, I think everybody's supposed to have an email address, but if nothing's entered, the icon will not show up either. Same thing, this phone number up here is tied to this phone number down here. All of those same exceptions for that. So if it's a static phone number, use the call, the regular phone number field. If it's a call rail number, use the rail field. In either of those instances, if they are coming from the Northeast and the Northeast number is filled out, this is going to be replaced with that number. The Northeast CTA is again something that is specific, at least at this point, to the MATS division. That is going to add another headline this size in between this text and this bar right here. And again, that will only appear and show up for people that it detects, visitors that are coming from the Northeast area. Gravity form ID, that is how you decide which form is going to be inserted down here. There is a separate video on that, how to create those and how to associate those with it. Yeah, I think it's best if you go and visit that video for that process. All right, I think that is what we're going to limit ourselves to for using this existing page. We're going to go back now to the one that we were working on here where we were filling things out. We'll just put in a and we will put in a we'll go ahead and put this. No, we don't need that. We'll put in an existing form ID so that the form shows up. All right, let's go ahead and save those items. And we will come over here. We will refresh the page. You can see that our fake phone numbers are showing up here, just like we described. We've got our fake email address showing up here on the form. So really the next step here is to add our text to the page, because we're going to want some text in between these two blue blocks here, in between our phone number and our form. So what we're going to do is click this back-end editor. This view with just a text field is how it's going to default to. You're going to want to go ahead and click back-end editor here. When you scroll down here after doing that, it'll look a little bit different. It'll have this look. You're going to go ahead and click this default layout. And then we've got some templates in here. So you can come right here to this button. You can see as I hover over it. Hopefully it shows you that effect. It'll tell you that this is templates when you hover over it. So let's just click that. And we've got a few things in here. So I think mostly what you're going to need is just this product headline and gallery shortcode. Or if you're not using a gallery, you can just hit this one. In this case, since we've added some pictures, we're going to go ahead and do that. You can see it's added this little, what we call a shortcode here, service gallery. Let's just go ahead and hit save draft again, and we will come to the front end and refresh. So there it is. We've got some text in here. We can edit each one of these. As you can see, it's got, access mats and rental mats in here, which obviously isn't what we want. We can just come right here. And again, we can just grab some Latin text, whatever it might be. If we want this gallery to show up in a different spot, we can just, go to this green bar for any of these elements. This first piece lets us drag items up or down in the list. So here we could move this. If these pictures are more relevant to this section up here, we can do that. Let's go ahead and hit Save Draft, hit Update again. So yeah, this process of keeping it drafted lets you get the page exactly the way you want, keeping it from public view until it's really ready to go, and then we can get it in wherever it is it needs to go and make it live. So we've chosen the utility and construction category for it. We're going to pretend like that's all the text that we need on the page here. We've got two headlines, we've got a bulleted list, we've got some pictures, we've got our SEO headline in here, our phone numbers, all of that good stuff. So then once we publish it, it will, well, we would need a photo here. So let's go through the photo step. Sorry, I almost missed that one. So we've got two additional fields here we need to take care of. One is the featured image. The featured image is what shows up again for these little cards, these service product cards here. So the size you're going to want to make that is 600 pixels wide by 250 pixels tall. That's the ideal image that's going to fit and respond well here in this spot. And then the other part is the excerpt text, and that's what shows up here underneath the title, again on this card. So that is this excerpt field right here. Let's just go ahead and we're going to go ahead and put a featured image here. We'll use this one, same one I was showing you before. Hit Save Draft. And then the last phase that you would need to do in order to get this to show up on the page, I'm going to do this very quickly, I don't think anybody's going to be able to see it, is you would go ahead and publish the page, and then because we're in utility and construction, it will show up on this page. So I'm going to publish it just so we can see and show and make sure that that works. Draft it again. It should only be live for a few seconds. So let's go ahead and publish. Still working on it. And you can see here's our test service for video instruction, our little excerpt text, the image that we chose. Let's just come right back over here. We're going to change it to draft, hit OK, hit update. And you can see that it's gone again now that we have redrafted the page. The last item that you would need to do if we were making that live and the card were now showing up here is you would want to be able to add it to the navigation as well. We control that by going right here to Appearance and Menus. Again, this is one of those things that's hard to do because the page isn't live. I don't think it's going to let us add a drafted item to the menu here, but let's just take a look. We've got Services, View All. Our test page isn't showing up here because it's not published, but in any case, all we really need to do is come and find the one that we want. It would be here in the list if it were published, and then we could just hit check the box next to it. We'd say Add to Menu. It adds it here to the very bottom. And then in this case, we would want it because we said it was in utility and construction. So we'd just click and hold on this. We would drag it up and we would drop it in under utility and construction. Now we don't want it, sticking in another level or anything like that. It needs to be at the same level so that it is what we call a sibling page of all of these others here. So we obviously don't want that added. I'm not going to save it. I'm just going to go ahead and hit refresh here. It's going to warn me that I'm about to lose my changes, which is great. I don't want to save those changes. If we did want to save them, we would just come right down here and hit save, and then that crane mats item would be showing up here in our utility and construction menu, which we don't want again. So I'm going to go ahead and hit refresh and hit reload when it gives me that warning, so that we're not adding that page to it. But that is the process for adding a page from scratch, getting it to show up in these category feeds and on the home page feed, and then being able to add it to the menu. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.